What if I told you that many of your deepest convictions and thoughts may not truly belong to you? Instead, they've been shaped and molded by the very language you use. Language is a powerful force in our lives, functioning as a lens through which we interpret our reality. Every idea you hold, every opinion you express, has been cultivated in a kind of invisible framework. In his spiritual journey, C.S. Lewis highlighted the profound impact of language and reason on our understanding of faith and morality. He emphasized the need to perceive beyond mere words, as seen in his reflections on divine truth. A relevant biblical teaching echoes this sentiment. For we do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this age. Ephesians 6:12. This verse reminds us that our struggles often involve unseen influences, shaped by language and ideology. Lewis explored how language could both enlighten and deceive us. He challenged readers to seek authenticity and truth behind the verbal constructs we encounter, urging vigilance against manipulative rhetoric. Just as Alfred Korzybski's theory of general semantics illustrates, the map is not the territory. Lewis too stressed that words, while valuable, are merely representations of the greater truths they attempt to convey. We must remember that labels do not equate to reality. They are only approximations. When we treat our linguistic constructs as absolutes, we risk becoming prisoners of our own thoughts, mistaking superficial definitions for deeper meaning. C.S. Lewis encouraged us to understand the fluid nature of concepts such as freedom, love, and justice. In a society where our perceptions are easily swayed by misleading narratives, we must grasp that without context and critical thought, words remain merely empty vessels devoid of true significance. Embracing this insight allows us to break free from the constraints of language and engage with the richer, more complex realities of our lives and beliefs. The teachings found in the Bible and the insights of C.S. Lewis remind us to engage with language and ideas with intention and thoughtfulness. The Bible encourages us to seek wisdom and understanding, as seen in Proverbs 4:7, which states, "Wisdom is the principal thing. Therefore get wisdom, and with all thy getting, get understanding." This principle underscores the importance of not taking words and meanings for granted, as they are often laden with nuance and depth. C.S. Lewis, a keen observer of language and meaning, echoed similar sentiments. He argued that words are not merely vessels for conveying static facts, but dynamic expressions shaped by our thoughts, cultures, and experiences. Lewis recognized the fluidity of language and believed that clarity in communication is paramount. He once noted that our understanding can easily be ensnared by words that have become mere symbols, divorced from their original meanings. To grasp the essence of this idea, consider the model of communication proposed by Ogden's triangle of meaning, which illustrates that the relationship between symbols, thoughts, and the actual objects they represent is far from straightforward. As Lewis suggested, the connection exists primarily in our minds, making it crucial to exercise discernment in our interpretations. Failing to do so can lead to misunderstandings and conflicts, an all too common experience when engaging in discussions without realizing the underlying disconnects. Yet there is a challenge in striving for clarity. On one hand, simplifying language, much like Ogden's Basic English, can enhance communication and reduce ambiguity. This stripped-down approach may seem like a remedy for linguistic confusion. However, Lewis warns against the dangers of oversimplification, reminding us that such reductions can strip away the richness and depth of human experience. The quest for clarity raises important questions. Can we truly capture the breadth of human thought in a limited vocabulary? Is the pursuit of clarity worth the potential loss of nuance? This paradox challenges us to find a balance, to engage with language in a way that liberates our understanding rather than constrains it to mere symbols. In this journey through language and meaning, we are invited to reflect deeply, to ensure our words anchor us in reality, and to embrace the divine wisdom echoed in Scripture as we articulate the complexities of our thoughts and emotions. Many philosophical discussions often get mired in complicated symbols and terminology, and this tendency to stray from practical, real-world implication can be quite detrimental. For example, economists frequently use terms like market dynamics, inflation, and capital, Yet how often do they pause to clarify what these concepts truly represent in everyday life? This intellectual disengagement can lead to a detachment from the tangible experiences of people, turning essential discussions into mere abstractions that float above reality, much like trying to construct a house from clouds, only to witness it collapse. In this context, consider the wisdom found in the Bible, particularly Proverbs 18:13, which warns against the perils of answering before fully understanding a matter. C.S. Lewis echoes similar sentiments in his writings, urging us to examine the meanings and foundations behind our beliefs and language. He cautions against allowing abstract ideas to overshadow the genuine complexities of the human experience. Now, let's reflect on populism, a compelling political force often cloaked in the language of the common folk. This trend is not merely a light critique. It brings to the forefront serious concerns about how political rhetoric can shape our perceptions. Terms like the American people or the working class are often used as if they represent singular, homogeneous entities. Such personification simplifies the rich diversity of human experience into digestible symbols ready for manipulation. This linguistic strategy can be perilous, as it tends to erase the individual nuances within a community. When we start believing in the myth of a unified populace, we risk ignoring the varying needs and experiences of its members. Lewis would likely argue that this reductionism dismisses the complexity of humanity that the Bible celebrates. He emphasizes the importance of clarity and truth, reminding us to question the narratives presented to us, just as the Bible directs us to seek wisdom and understanding. Challenging prevailing economic models, Lewis would likely critique concepts like the law of supply and demand, pointing out that they are often more about descriptive frameworks than tangible realities. Like all constructs, they should not override a grounded understanding of human behavior and societal needs. So, let us take these teachings to heart, questioning the abstractions we encounter and striving to maintain a connection to the true essence of human experience, as both Scripture and great thinkers like C.S. Lewis encourage us to do. In exploring the teachings of the Bible and the insights of C.S. Lewis, we are reminded that the interpretations of sacred texts should not be mistaken for unalterable absolute truths. Just as Lewis emphasizes the importance of questioning ideas, we must not blindly accept interpretations of Scripture as if they were etched in stone. Proverbs 18:13 teaches us, "To answer before listening, that is folly and shame." This wisdom encourages us to thoughtfully engage with the teachings rather than simply accepting them as dogma. Moreover, many thinkers throughout history have treated concepts derived from biblical teachings as definitive frameworks for understanding the human experience, often overlooking the complexities of real life. C.S. Lewis, in his writings, urges us to recognize that human behavior is not easily confined to rigid structures or neat formulas. This becomes particularly relevant when we confront the notion that certain spiritual laws operate like inviolable edicts. Instead, these teachings serve as guiding principles, potent tools for moral reflection, yet flexible enough to accommodate the chaotic nature of human existence. The true peril arises when vague spiritual terminology is manipulated for personal gain, reminiscent of how political rhetoric bends and twists language for control. Words like faith, grace, and redemption are sometimes thrown into discourse without their fuller context, diluting their meaning and power. Lewis cautions us against the superficial use of language that evokes emotion but lacks substance. It's critically important to discern the true implications of these terms, as they are often used to engage hearts while leaving minds unchallenged. We must remain vigilant against the influence of those who wield language as a weapon. Just as C.S. Lewis highlighted the capacity of demagogues to exploit words, we see the reflection of this in contemporary society. The misuse of spiritual and ethical language can serve to manipulate rather than enlighten, leading to a misunderstanding of what faith truly encompasses. We are called to examine the underlying principles behind these abstract notions, recognizing that our spiritual journey requires both thought and reflection beyond mere emotional appeal. In the hands of a proficient communicator, words possess the extraordinary ability to alter our realities, incite division, and ruin lives. The biblical lesson echoes profoundly in James 3:5, which warns that the tongue is a small part of the body, but it makes great boasts. Consider what a great forest is set on fire by a small spark. C.S. Lewis, a master of exposition and clarity, also recognized the weight of language, emphasizing that words can be more insidious than weapons, as they can transform perceptions and manipulate truth. This isn't merely a historical reflection. It's a crucial alert for our time. We must be astute about the language that surrounds us, particularly from those in authoritative positions. We ought to critically analyze and deconstruct their words, lest we fall under the spell of a new form of manipulation, bound not by physical chains, but by the deceptive power of rhetoric. Lewis did not shy away from grappling with philosophical themes either. He recognized that philosophy, though an age-old pursuit of truth, can sometimes drift into a quagmire of empty ideas. He observed that discussions in philosophy often become entangled in abstract concepts, losing connection with practical experiences. Consider the concept of justice. Philosophers have spent generations wrestling with its definition, yet it remains elusive and ambiguous. While Lewis does not discard philosophy entirely, he is candid about its shortcomings. In losing themselves in complex abstractions, philosophers risk detaching from the very truths they aim to illuminate. However, even within this critique lies a pathway forward, returning philosophical discourse to practical, relatable foundations. So what should our approach be? Lewis suggests that the answer does not lie in the murky waters of vague terminology, but rather in the clarity of numerical logic. To cut through the confusion, we should embrace mathematical reasoning. It serves as a universal tongue that articulates thoughts without ambiguity. By advocating for a mathematical framework for understanding our world, Lewis encourages us to clarify our definitions, acknowledge connections, and articulate our views with precision. In doing so, we reaffirm the importance of grounded, accurate communication in navigating life's complexities. In the pursuit of a deeper understanding, it's essential to anchor our thoughts in concrete concepts, much like the teachings found in the Bible. While language can often dance around our intentions like fleeting balloons, there's a certain stability to numerical figures that can serve as a foundation for our communication. In a landscape where words can easily be manipulated, mathematics stands as a reliable medium, prompting us to rethink our perspective on how we express ourselves. This is where the wisdom of C.S. Lewis comes into play. He calls attention to the importance of truth in our lives, echoing the sentiment found in Proverbs 18:21, which states, "The tongue has the power of life and death." For Lewis, authentic communication is not merely about flawless philosophy, but about survival. It's about how our words influence our existence and relationships. Lewis might suggest that the viability of our language is measured not by its abstract consistency, but by its capacity to help us navigate the complexities of life. If our words fail to enhance our understanding of reality, then they're devoid of purpose. This pragmatic view resonates strongly in a culture frequently sidetracked by theoretical discussions. The purpose of language transcends mere description. It functions to enrich our lives and facilitate our survival. We find ourselves faced with a striking realization. Liberating ourselves from the confines of misleading language is not merely an academic exercise, but a matter of existence. Lewis urges us not to merely refine our communication skills, but to wield language, an instrument that can build bridges or create divides. The challenge we face is more than just recognizing how language can entrap us. It's about actively forging our words into tools of clarity and insight. Lewis's message to us is straightforward. Become more conscientious about your verbal expressions, for they shape your worldview. So, dear friends, take hold of the insights provided by both biblical teachings and C.S. Lewis's wisdom. Break free from the unseen bonds woven by careless language use. Lewis didn't write merely to provoke thought. He desired to awaken us from the stupor that words can impose. Ultimately, understanding these dynamics allows us to navigate the chaotic landscape of modern life more effectively. In the realm of understanding, words often fall short of the reality they seek to describe. Recognizing this distinction is crucial for deepening our comprehension of life's profound concepts. When someone mentions ideas such as freedom, justice, or truth, It's vital to pause and reflect on what these terms truly signify. Why not question their meaning? Just as the Bible invites us to seek knowledge, the heart of the discerning acquires knowledge, for the ears of the wise seek it out. Proverbs 18:15. By probing beneath the surface of these abstractions, we can uncover deeper meanings and insights. C.S. Lewis, in his explorations of faith and reason, encourages us to confront these complexities head-on. He believed in the importance of understanding truth, not merely as an abstract concept, but as a dynamic part of our lives that guides our moral compass. So as you navigate this intricate landscape of language and ideas, remember that you have the power to thrive by engaging critically with the world around you. If you've enjoyed this insightful discussion, don't forget to express your thoughts below, share this journey with others, and subscribe for further explorations into the deeper aspects of human existence. Stay keen, stay thoughtful, and always keep in mind that the map is only a guide, not the territory itself. Until next time.